Hi everybody, my name is Jan Landman. I'm currently based at the CRI head office in Nelspruit, South Africa, Mbombela. This next section of the video will contain images about the wax application, rotation of brushes, etc., just to help you manage the flow of wax over the fruit. As you all know, waxing is the last chemical treatment that is applied to your fruit on the pack line. That small amount of wax that you apply onto the fruit skin, that ensures that you will get the protection needed against cold storage, weight loss, and very good shelf life where it lies at the end of its long journey. At the end of the day, that wax layer rounds off all the implements, all the additives that you did beforehand in your pack line to enhance the fruit on its long journey. What we're going to do now is just speak about small problems that may occur while waxing before and, as I said, on the wax bed and drying afterwards. Well, let's start at the beginning. When your fruit enters your wax bed, always ensure that you have a good solid layer of fruit entering your wax bed. Always make sure that the fruit layer is nicely spaced out so that you don't have too much fruit running on the one side and too little fruit running on the other side of your wax bed. That will ensure that you've got a very good layer of wax over the complete skin of your fruit, covering from the stem end to the style end. And that will also ensure that you do not have places of dryness and overwaxing on other areas on your wax bed. When using your brushes, please make sure that they rotate correctly and in the right direction. In this case, we've got corrugated brushes and it's a left to right and a right to left winding. So later in the video you will see how we demonstrate to install them and that they run correctly. That will ensure when the fruit is running over your brushes that you will get a slight cantering of the fruit, ensuring that your wax reaches the style end and the stem end of the fruit. Also, very important, make sure the fruit entering your wax bed is completely dry. You cannot have wet fruit entering the wax bed. If that is the case, you will dilute the amount of wax that you are currently putting onto the fruit. You will think that you have the right quantity of wax on the fruit, but in short, you will be halving the amount of chemicals adding to the protection of the fruit. Please make sure that you do not overwax the fruit. As well, do not spray against the sides of your wax bed. That's a complete loss of very expensive chemicals. It will do you no good if the wax is running from the side of your wax bed down to the bottom of your machine. Always try and ensure that you've got an even spread of fruit running over the wax bed so that you apply an even amount of wax over and above the fruit. Make sure that your brushes are in a very good condition so that you get a deep line of fruit in the middle of your wax bed. That will ensure that you've got good coverage. When the fruit leaves the wax bed, make sure that the last brush at the end is still slightly wet. If not, you may have a wind problem running from the front end of your drying tunnel, and that will cause the last brush to be a powdery white grey color. If that happens, install extra curtains to block the amount of air that's running either from the pre or the aft drying tunnels. Fruit running over the draw board. They must leave a small amount of wax trailing behind them. If you take your hand and wipe it over the drawboard, there must be a thin film of wet wax covering your fingertips, as well as the last brush. If not, you will take away the shine of the fruit, and that will say you are adding too little wax to the amount of fruit that's currently running over your wax bed. Make sure that your brushes are always completely and very nicely, evenly wet. If you still have a problem with wind running over the wax bed, there's always an option of putting a PVC pipe, or as we call it, a sleeve, over the last brush so that your fruit may slide over it, and that will block the excess air running from the last dry tunnel back to your wax bed. When packing different cultivars, make sure that you set the speed of your brushes accordingly. Elongated fruit, a lower speed, but I would not recommend lower than 70 RPM. Rounded fruit, you can go up with the RPMs as much as 120 RPM. That will ensure that you've got a good rollover of the fruit over your brushes, and on a slower RPM, your elongated fruit will do like a good rocking motion, and you'll get more wax on the stem and style end. If possible, try and have at least 2 sets of brushes. One that you are currently using, your extra set that you are cleaning and preparing to dry before installing them back into operation. So, in short, try to have as much as possible dry fruit entering your wax bed. Always try to have a single layer of fruit entering the wax bed and covering the wax bed from left to right and in a single layer. Running through the brushes, over the brushes, set the correct speed to the type of citrus running at the moment. Check the amount of wax, check the calibrating, so everything is in order. Try not to overwax. It will leave dark spots on your fruit and it will stay sticky and very hard to dry. See that you have a single layer fruit leaving your wax bed and entering the second drying tunnel. Set the speed of your brushes correctly. If you have any problems on the wax bed, feel free to contact me at any time. I will try and give you the right advice to minimize all the problems that you have on your wax bed.